As of right now, if the season were to end today, the Arizona Cardinals are the best team in the NFC, and I don't think it's close. I think that they're capitalizing on both sides of the football, both defensively and offensively, and they made adjustments. They understood what the assignment was and how accurate and deadly that LA offense was, and they came prepared. Granted, they didn't sack Matthew Stafford, so the turnover ratio really only was that one interception that Stafford have and the fumble on Sony Michel. But dude, Arizona the real deal, man. Kyler was really going out there saying, "Carry this on my back real quick."
Mm-hmm. I mean, Kevin, I'll take it one step further. I think they're the best team in the NFL right now. Because
Whew.
when I look at this game in particular, the Rams were probably the best team in the league going into this matchup. They had a phenomenal week 3 win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers where they essentially wiped the floor with Tampa. They handled them pretty convincingly. And I thought it was going to be more of the same from LA against the Cardinals. But the way that it works on Sundays is that didn't turn out to be the case. The Cardinals were outstanding from beginning to end in this game. And it's kind of one of the things that I was kind of focusing on going into this matchup because even though they were 3-0, they've had some performances where they've been really good for one half of football. And then in the other half of the football game, they've kind of struggled or they've kind of taken their foot off the pedal. But the main factors behind this win today was, first of all, they didn't turn the ball over. They had probably one of the most offensive, balanced performances in all of week 4. And they were able to turn the Rams' turnovers into points. And even though that I think Kyler Murray is one of the best quarterbacks that we've seen in the NFL this year, one of the issues that he's had is turning the ball over. It's been one of the very few issues that he's had, to say more specifically. And even though he's thrown 4 interceptions through the first 4 games of the season, and going up against a really good Rams defense, he didn't turn the ball over whatsoever today. He was great against them. He was efficient. He was able to extend the plays with his feet, and he was able to dice up that Rams secondary fairly easily. And to kind of add to the offensive performance that they had, the balanced attack from the run game was apparent. The fact that they were able to get over 200 yards rushing on the ground, like you mentioned, Chase Edmonds had about 120 yards on the ground. You combine that with some carries from James Conner, Kyler Murray extending plays with his feet. You combine that with the 268 yards and 2 touchdowns that Kyler threw in the air. That's a phenomenal performance against a really good defense in the Rams. Probably one of the best offensive performances I've seen all year. And defensively, I thought the Cardinals were sensational in slowing down the Rams offense for basically the entire game. They were able to pick off Matt Stafford in the first half, along with stripping the ball from Sony Michel, and they turned those turnovers into touchdowns. And the Cardinals held the Rams to 13 points until the third quarter and for most of the fourth quarter. So when you look at playing a full 60 minutes, the Cardinals did that from beginning to end today. They're currently sitting at 4-0. And granted, it might be prisoner of the moment, but I think this is the best team in the NFL. Find me another team. Don't worry, I'll wait.
Hey, man, you make a valid point. I was trying to just kind of keep it in the realm of the NFC, but they did it, man. They went out, and that's the biggest thing to me is we've been hyping up this Rams team, and I mean they've been doing it on all fronts. And obviously, last week was a big statement game, beating the
Mhm.
defending Super Bowl champions. And we thought that this division battle was going to be a tough one, but man, for Arizona to flip the script, change the narrative, and then dominate them on their home field, and by them I mean the Rams. What a game! I wish I would have been able to watch this. I'm one of those people that doesn't have cable, so I was watching on my phone on a streaming service, and it continued to cut in and out. So every time I would see something, it would reverse or rewind or whatever. So I wasn't able to watch it consistently. I saw flashes. I saw the touchdown to AJ Green. I did see Matt Stafford throw that touchdown to Van Jefferson. Shout out to Van Jefferson, former Gator. Uh, but overall, man, what a game. I cannot wait for the rematch. Obviously, the NFC West is the most competitive division in football. So whenever any of these 4 teams combat against one another, they're always phenomenal games. And I just look to see how the Rams adjust and can Arizona keep it going. I what a game this was in general. And it's funny because Chandler Jones nor J.J. Watt were able to get a sack, which is kind of
Kind of
showing the
crazy.
not only crazy, but it does show the kudos to the Rams offensive line. Obviously, like I said, Stafford not being sacked at all, but turnovers were crucial, and the Rams lost the turnover battle. Usually in term, that usually means that they're going to lose a football game, but it's on to next week, and that's what both teams need to remember.
One more point about the Rams. The Rams kind of looked like the Bucks from last week. The Bucks offensively were able to move the ball up and down the field. It's just that they couldn't punch it in the end zone. And the Rams today, they had some drives where they were able to move the ball down the field, but the drives just stalled out. And that's kind of the thing in probably the first month of the season is, teams can be able to, get a couple first downs. But once they get into that other team's territory, they just can't put a couple plays together to get them not only into the red zone, but put them in for a potential touchdown. And I think that's just kind of one of the things that you're going to see just through the first, 4 weeks of the season. Just teams are able to kind of get drives going, but they just stall out. And that's what happened to the Rams today. They just had drives that stalled out. But you got to give a lot of credit to the Cardinals defense. That Cardinals secondary has been shaky, to say the least, in some of the games that they've played this year. But, I mean, to be able to hold the Rams to 13 points for basically most of the game, outside of maybe one garbage time touchdown, dude, they came to play today. And I don't think it's really that much of a controversial statement to say that at this current moment, that they're the best team in the NFL. That is prisoner in a moment. I totally understand that. But I think it's well deserved. I think, to kind of like close out like the first month of the season, I think they definitely deserve that top spot.